This video is brought to you by Gamersubs. Use code MHB at checkout for 10% off your next order. I want to platinum every PS3 game that I own. Sadly, not every game is possible to platinum, whether because they never had any trophies to begin with, or due to server shutdown thanks to so many games from this generation shoehorning in unnecessary multiplayer modes. But I have a lot of PS3 games in my collection, and I've platinumed 38 of them so far, out of a possible 175, and that number is continuously growing with every purchase that I can't seem to stop. Yeah, I've got a bit of work to do, but that's why I put all my PS3 games into a wheel, and one by one we're going to be platinuming as many of those games as we can that the wheel has chosen for us. As always, if you do end up enjoying the content and want to see more like it, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and let's spin the wheel and see what we're platinuming this time. We get what we get, we don't get upset. I haven't been upset yet, still. I've been pretty happy, honestly. Don't ruin it at the end. Nice. Nice. Alright, Need for Speed Shift. I loved this game at release. I'm very excited to get to this. This should be really, really fun. And I don't think there's any online trophies in the Platinum either, so that's great. That's good. I don't cover many racing games here on the channel, but this is a genre I've grown up absolutely loving. MX vs ATV, Gran Turismo, Forza, Burnout, and Need for Speed being my go-to franchises for my racing fix, not to mention the wealth of kart races or one-off gems like Split Second, Pure, and Blur, to name a few. I love me a good racing game, and Need for Speed has always been one of my favorites. Unfortunately, on the PS3, there's only 2 games in the series we can platinum, and well, they're not the most beloved games in the series. The Most Wanted Reboot, which I was not a big fan of, and Need for Speed Shift, which trades in the arcade style the series was known for a more simulation racing vibe. It's nowhere near that level to dub it an outright simulator, but it's a decent departure for the series, and a game that, well, honestly, I had a lot of good memories with. I always thought this was an unfairly overlooked game in the Need for Speed series because I played this game for at least 100 hours back in the day. It didn't really feel like Need for Speed, which, as I'm saying out loud, is probably why it's not really talked about, but it was a fun traditional racing game similar to the Forza Motorsport series that I enjoyed playing and testing my skills in both online and offline. So I was really excited to see how this game held up today, and again, we don't cover a lot of racing games, so it's always good to mix things up. Need for Speed Shift is pretty simple to talk about. There's a decent amount of work that needs to go into this platinum experience, but, well, it's just really about racing around. I know, shocking. There's not really a story to speak of, just get enough stars in the missions through placing in the top 3, and some various challenges to unlock the next tier, rinse and repeat 4 times until you unlock the final tournament. There's a bunch of different events to add some variety, like standard racing events, drifting events, endurance races, tournaments, and specific car type events. But getting through to the final tournament was our first goal of this platinum. That way we get used to the driving, the controls, the racetracks, and sort of just feeling the game out. I wasn't really too worried about the trophies just yet, but in saying that, there's 2 elements of the platinum that are constants throughout. That being to reach level 50 and to earn 20 epic badges. The level grind is self-explanatory. Race and get XP. But what are these badges? Well, this is where a lot of people think the platinum for Shift is impossible, because the game includes online badges, but they are no longer possible to obtain since, well, the servers were taken down long ago. However, there are 21 badges you can grab offline, making it still possible to earn the platinum. Now, the badges themselves are rewards for completing challenges, and the more you do said thing will level up that challenge badge from bronze to silver to gold, and finally epic. Most of these are pretty natural to go and grab while just playing the game, but some you do need to put a bit of effort in. That sort of stuff is for the next step though, because again, I was just focusing on beating the story mode for now, and just by making my way through to the World Championship, which I unlocked before I finished the Tier 2 events, I unlocked 12 trophies for completing the tutorial, unlocking all the tiers, winning the championship, leveling up, and getting 10 bronze badges and 5 silver badges. Trial by fire. Nice. I'm not going to know what any of these trophies are. I haven't looked at the trophy list. I just know we're trying to beat this campaign and then we'll deal with the rest from there. So whatever that was, cool. One small step. Driving rookie. Alright, I know that's for level 2. We have to get to level 50, so I mean it's somewhere. We're starting somewhere. Road to success. Might be for tier 2. Driving amateur. Alright, I know that's for level 5. Because I feel like, for whatever reason, that thumbnail, I remember getting the Xbox achievement for that way back in the day. Chance of a lifetime. Is that for tier 3, maybe? We're getting the story stuff done pretty quick. Driving semi-pro. Alright, that's level 10. Yeah, I think we're making good progress pretty quickly, which is good, but yeah, we'll see how the other tiers are. Bronze earner. Alright, cool. We must have gotten, what's that, 5 bronze medals or something like that. The final countdown. I think that's tier 4 unlocked. We still haven't even gotten to the tier 3 races. Hey, bronze hunter. Alright, that's 10 bronze medals. So we need at least, so we need another 10, and those 20 we need to get up to the highest rank. It's gonna take a little bit, but I mean, we still have a lot to actually play. Oh, silver earner. Alright, we got 5 silvers. Let's go! NFS Live World Champion. Alright, that's the story done. We didn't even finish getting our way through the tier 2 stuff, so we've still got a lot of races to race. We still have to get to level 50. We didn't even get to level 20 by the time we did this, so this could be longer than I'm expecting or shorter. I'm kind of like, oh, we could be, you know, decently close to being done, or we've still got like 20 hours left, who knows. Again, at this point, I still hadn't even completed half of the events, so that was the next step for me. Making my way through the rest of the events in tier 3 and 4, giving me more time to level up and earn some more badges. I knew which badge I was going to skip already because it's the most time consuming, and that was to earn all the stars in the story mode. Not overly difficult by any means, but just something that would take the longest to get done. So I skipped over that one to focus for the time being on doing things like the clean and dirty overtakes, drafting and trading paint, and the career badges, which is mostly just to do with completing all of a specific race type, like taking out all the rivals, completing all the mixed events, and endurance races. Once again, something that takes a good chunk of time, but there's not too much to it, and by completing the story races, unlocked me another 8 trophies for reaching level 30, earning 15 bronze, 15 silver, 10 gold, and 5 epic badges. Driving pro. Alright, we finally hit level 20. Level wise, I think there's an easy way to level up after the fact. Silver hunter, cool. I think that's 10. I've lost track of the silvers we've gotten. I think it's 10. Yeah, I think there's easy ways to get the levels up a bit quicker, but for now we kind of just got to see where we end up after all the events. Bronze collector. Alright, that's 15. Alright, so I need 5 more bronzes, and that's the 20 epics I need to go for. Hey, gold earner. That's 5 goldies. Epic earner. Alright, that's 5 epics. Some of the event challenges are pretty easy. They're just going to take some time. I'm really not worried about the medals at all anymore. I'm kind of just like, get through the rivals and the event sort of stuff we need to do, and then we can grind out whatever we have left. Hey, driving veteran. Alright, that's level 30. Oh, okay. Like, probably gonna need, like, by the time I'm done, I think 15 levels I'll have to grind out at the end. Not great, but I mean, we finished the campaign at level 20, so I'll take it. Hey, gold hunter. What have we here? Silver collector. Alright, we're starting to rack them up now. With the story events complete, it was time to start abusing the quick race feature, which is where we'd spend the rest of the platinum experience. I needed a good few level ups still, but my focus for now was completing the rest of the badges. Most of which were for doing things like completing a clean race on each map, that means no aggro or driving off the track, mastering every corner of every map, which for the most part isn't too bad, and progress carries over from race to race, meaning no, this doesn't have to be done in one lap, driving for over 160 kilometers in 3 European, Japanese, and American cars each, and completing 250 perfect starts. The clean laps were no problem, just drive around the track with some caution and you'll knock these out, especially when setting the track to no opponents. Mastering all the corners isn't so bad either. Some can be tricky as you can't just slow down through all of them, you have to have the right speed, but also I'll be honest, some of these are pretty hit and miss at times. Sometimes I'd get a master on a corner and think, how? That was terrible. And other times I felt like I nailed it and it was no good. But overall, I didn't have much of an issue with these, as again, by this point, I only had a few corners to get right on each map. Except for the Nordschleife. Come on, except for the Nordschleife tracks. This is the longest track in the game, which we'll use later for some XP grinding, but because of that, it means if you mess up a corner, it's a long reset back, especially if the last few you need are all towards the end. These took me a good few attempts to get right, and probably over 2 or 3 hours to get done, but again, that's the only real hurdle here. All that really left me was the 250 perfect starts, which in hindsight is easier to do than I thought. You just need to hold the accelerator around where the neutral is green. It doesn't actually have to be perfect, you can get a good start and it counts, but I didn't know that while playing the story, so I needed to grind out a lot of them. So I booted up MayorHairBear, which takes 14 seconds to do a lap around, and I did that around 200 times to get this done, unlocking my 20 epic badges. Hey, Bronze Master, that's 20, right? So we've got our 20 badges that we have to get to Epic. Epic Hunter, woo! Alright, that's 10, I think. 10 epics. Gold Collector. Alright, we're getting close. So I think that's 15 gold medals. Silver Master, let's go. Okay, that's 20 silvers. Epic Collector. What's that, 15 now? Alright, we're getting close. Okay, Gold Master, that's 20 gold. Badges done. And now I just need 100 more perfect launches and to hit level 50, which actually I'm more excited to hit level 50 because it could actually be some fun. Getting these perfect starts is just so repetitive. Epic Master. Alright, that's the badges done. This last part's definitely been a grind. I think I started at like 240 something races or wins. Oh god. Now for the final grind. Getting to level 50, which at this point, after all my work, I was at level 47. Thankfully, there's 2 quick ways to level up here. You can do a clean lap on Nordschleife, which with a good car will take around 7 to 8 minutes for 6,000 XP, give or take. Or you can select MayorHairBear with 20 laps and 15 opponents. They both award the same sort of XP for the time, but the Demolition Derby is a lot of fun if you can get lots of dirty overtakes in the process. I sort of just mixed and matched to try not to burn myself out, and after a little over an hour, I hit level 50, unlocking the platinum, and my time with Need for Speed Shift was complete. Driving Legend, Platinum Trophy, that's Need for Speed Shift done. This is going to be a really interesting one to talk about, because it's sort of just race around. Like, obviously it's a racing game, but you know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is type of thing. I enjoyed it. Yeah, sort of alright. So after 35 hours in total, what did I think of Need for Speed Shift's Platinum and the game in general? Overall, I had an alright time here, but at the same time, couldn't shake the fact that this felt nothing like a Need for Speed experience. It wasn't quite as good as I remembered, and I think that's because it feels like it could have been called anything else, but Need for Speed sells more copies. It definitely is a more than competent racing game, and if you're someone who enjoys the mix of arcade and simulation, you'll probably enjoy this, but it's not for everyone. In terms of the Platinum, this one was sort of a meh experience. Maybe it's the YouTube brain, but I like a platinum journey that feels like a good story to tell your friends. Here, it's very much level up, earn some badges, and beat the campaign. That itself is sort of lackluster. It's a catch-22 though, because I wish the trophies were more specific to the badges you earn, but if they did that, it wouldn't be possible to platinum anymore either, as no doubt they'd have some multiplayer stuff in that list. So I am grateful for the vague nature here, but just wish the game had a bit more going on in that department. With that being said, it is an ultra rare platinum if rarity is something you're interested in, and it's pretty easy to grab, so there is that. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to leave a comment with "you've got to be shifting me" to let me know that you made it to the end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below and let me know which PS3 games you hope the wheel lands on next, or any games to potentially add to the wheel. Shout out to the channel members for that extra level of support, and special thanks to the members of the Bear Club: A It's Grey J, Dark Wolf, Zafado, Lug Knights, Golden Sparrow, Lord Alex, Kuzma, Jarvis McGee, and Briganius. Thank you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.